Hello, my name is Gary Maloney here for Sactown Slam, and I'm here to talk to you all today about a very important subject to me, and that is the downfall of the WWE and what WWE has done basically to itself to basically kill themselves. I mean, they've literally just I don't even know how to put it. They've just jumped off a cliff, a ratings cliff that they cannot recover from. It was only a few months ago that they had gotten their second lowest rating ever, and they'd gotten, last Halloween, they got their lowest rating ever for Smackdown. Well, a few days ago, they got their lowest rating ever for Raw. How and why is this happening? Well, I have a few opinions on this. So, allow me to explain. And allow me to explain first the first opinion. And that is sports entertainment versus professional wrestling. Now, Jim Cornette once explained this as chocolate versus vanilla. One is very, very much more entertainment oriented, meaning that, well, we're supposed to be entertained by it. The other is more athletically oriented, meaning that we're supposed to be entertained by a show of athleticism. Now, is there a right and a wrong here? Not necessarily. However, when you tip the scales too much in one direction, it becomes very, very much a problem. Let's look at Monday Night Raw. Now, Monday Night Raw, you've got Titus Worldwide is a joke. They are a joke team. They never win. They are guys that constantly get buried. Let's look at the Deleters of Worlds. The only reason they're successful is because of the broken gimmick. Period. Let's look at Axel and Bo. They have done zero to get over, and they're trying to get over through a stupid gimmick. Why these guys weren't moved over with The Miz is beyond my comprehension. You've got Kane, who is a 51-year-old fat guy trying to ride the coattails of a guy who just came back to the WWE. You have guys that, like Baron Corbin, who will respond to negative tweets from fans by showing pictures of his fancy cars. Now, I'll get to the money aspect of this in a moment, but honestly, there's too much entertainment. Like the fact that Brock Lesnar's never there, yet Brock is their Universal Champion. Why is he their Universal Champion? Because he is a UFC, figurehead. And he's a former UFC, and I stress the word former UFC champ. Now, he has been given a shot, and an undeserved one at that, I believe, in December, if Cormier can keep the title. Here's the deal. Your quote-unquote Universal Champion, which really doesn't mean shit, again, entertainment. What does that word encompass? Are you entertaining us by not showing up? Because you're certainly not doing that. I mean, and that's really the first problem. You can't entertain people with champs that don't show up. Period. And that's the only really place to go with that one. If you're not going to show up and you're not going to do your job, you shouldn't be a champ. Period. I don't care how much of a fucking beast you are. You're a pussy if you don't show up for work. That is one thing that I actually agree with Roman Reigns on. And I know that those lines were force-fed to him by Vince McMahon. So, but you know, Vince is right every so often. Professional wrestling versus sports entertainment. Another problem. Why is it that you have a guy like Daniel Bryan pretending that he's making pyro come out of the sides of the ring at the end of SmackDown? Like, tweet Daniel Bryan, we haven't had fucking pyro at regular shows in like 4 years. Oh yeah, I guess you've been gone that long, so you wouldn't know, would you? That just made Daniel Bryan look retarded, in my opinion, and he made him look really stupid. And whether they're trying to discredit him because he does have plans of leaving and going to, Ring of Honor and on being it All In, I don't know. But that's definitely not the way you want to make a guy that you might have as a future champ look. Another issue is that WWE does not see any money in their tag team division. And I call bullshit on that too. Why? First of all, admittedly, they moved all their talent to SmackDown, which I do feel is sad. Because, as I've previously stated in another video, Superglued Tag Team, Breezango, even though they have literally been around each other for a long time, they're still a Superglued Tag Team. B-Team, Superglued Tag Team. The Leaders of the World, Superglued Tag Team. Titus Worldwide, Superglued Tag Team. The only 3 teams that are not Superglued Tag Teams are AOP, The Revival, and Ascension. Look, there may be 1 or 2 more tag teams I'm probably forgetting about or have slipped my mind, but I'm going to be honest, when you're just putting guys together just to put them together, you are failing as a booker. And you're also running out of ideas for guys to do. Now, Kurt Hennig's son, Curtis Axel, this guy is the son of Mr. Fucking Perfect. The man who could do all the things. He is a former Intercontinental fucking champ, just like his dad. And you have had him delegated now from working with Paul Heyman and being an Intercontinental Champion to looking like a piece of shit with Bo Dallas. In a championship match which he will undoubtedly lose, because I don't think they're going to have them lose the tag titles at a B-level pay-per-view, but then again, what the fuck do I know? This is being taped before Extreme Rules. But the fact of the matter is that these guys, what are you going to do? You know? They obviously do not value tag team wrestling at all. And then you look at the SmackDown side, and it's like, come on. You have, like, one of the greatest tag team divisions, and it's like, that's including New Japan. You have the Bar, you have Sanity, you have the New Day, and yes, New Day is super glued, Bar is super glued, but I'm going to tell you something. And this is the difference between a team like the Bar and a team like Axel and Dallas and freaking Wyatt and Bray Wyatt and Jeff Hardy or Matt Hardy. Damn. Anyway, Hardy and Wyatt and the B team. The difference between those two and the Bar is that the Bar uses a similar wrestling style. They're both British strong style. The other two teams do not use similar styles, which makes them look like shit. So that's why the Bar works out. I mean, I guess you could call Sanity a quote-unquote super glued tag team, but these guys got together in NXT, and that's how it works in NXT. They put you in a position that they feel you would be most suited for. That's why it's technically, that's why NXT is developmental. That's why they're still developing people's characters. Another problem with WWE. The people you don't put in NXT versus the people you do put in NXT. Here's the thing. You're putting a dipshit like Mike Kanellis, who could have so used a backstory for WWE and needed NXT. I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler. I know he paid his dues in that sense in fucking Impact or whatever the fuck. But no one in WWE knew who the fuck he was. I mean, Mike Bennett, which is his name, should have been in NXT. At least for a year. I mean, come on. But now he looks like a dipshit. And now he would need to be off TV, which he is. And I hope he's getting repackaged. Because this Love Connection bullshit just looks awful. It looks like a rip-off of Cody and fucking what's-her-name. But it just... I don't know what to say. I mean, that's a guy that needed NXT. Whereas... You know, you look at guys like the War Raiders. Do they really fucking need NXT? Fuck no. And I've heard people go, well, why didn't AJ start in NXT like Samoa Joe and all those other TNA counterparts? Do you know why? He was champ in AAA. He was a champ in TNA. He was a champ in New Japan. None of those other people can say that. Period. Facts and figures. I do not care at all what people want to say and bitch and moan about with AJ. AJ is phenomenal. And there's a reason he says he's phenomenal. Because he is. And it's not just because he is, you know, does all these flippy-dip fucking moves and fancy-schmancy flying moves. It's because that is a guy who is a ring general. He can get people through a match and make anyone look better for it. When you can go through and if you go through just an arc of people that he's fought, he made Cena look better. And it's pretty friggin' hard to outdo John Cena when John Cena's the guy squashing people half the time. But when he got a clean pin on Cena, he at least did it making Cena look good. He lost to Brock, but he made it look like a convincing fight, which tells me he had a hand in fucking constructing it in the first place. He made Jinder Mahal, even though he beat Jinder Mahal, he made Jinder look good, which in the end probably raised Jinder's stock quite a bit. Excuse me. He made Jericho look good, and Jericho made him in turn look good. He sat there and, I could tell you all these people that he's fought. Nakamura. Just look at the series he just had with Nakamura. Every single match, they raised the bar, okay? They raised the bar. And they made it look convincing. You see, and this is another, and that leads to another issue. But I'll get to that in a moment. But people want to complain about people who are in NXT versus people who start at the main roster. Two other guys who should not have started main roster. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. I realize Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley were main roster when they left. That does not mean they were main roster ready when they came back. I think that Shelton Benjamin may have needed like 6 months just to sort of repackage him, retool him, etc., etc. But maybe they were just wanting to see what he could do with Chad Gable, and maybe that's why. Maybe it was just the timing. On that one, I don't know. But Shelton Benjamin is pretty much a natural in the ring, so maybe that's a pass. Lashley, on the other hand, no, that is not a pass. I don't care if he was fucking in Bellator or TNA. He looks fucking awful in the ring. He really does. And to only show us 3 or 4 moves in the ring at this point, seeing as he's been there since the not the first week, but 2 weeks after WrestleMania was when he showed up. And I believe it was during a shakeup. And it just, I don't know what happened to this guy. But I get the feeling that they told him, well, you can't do this move, and you can't do that move, and blah, 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 blah. And it just got to the point where, I don't care, I'll just go out there and do whatever. Yeah, but if you do that, then you're going to look like shit. And what looks like shit and smells like shit usually is shit. And that's why I was really kind of hoping for a stipulation on the match with him and Roman on Sunday. But I don't know what else to say on that. But that's a guy that really should have started in NXT, because it had been 10 years since he'd been in a WWE ring, which means a lot had changed. A lot. And I don't care if his last match was at a fucking WrestleMania or not. This is a guy that needed to relearn some things, because a lot has changed in 10 years, which is the truth, and no one can deny that. Now, guys in NXT that probably didn't need to start there, and people may argue with me about this. Adam Cole. And I don't care what people think or say. Quite frankly, Adam Cole could have started main roster, and the whole Adam Cole baby thing would have still blown up. Now when it goes to main roster, it's going to be fucking Who Wants to Walk with Elias. Fucking, explosion. What else is there to say on that one? I mean, there aren't too many people that didn't need to start in NXT that started in NXT, but I think Adam Cole is probably currently the only one. I mean, a lot of people would argue Shayna Baszler, but I think Baszler's picked up a lot of good tricks in terms of mic work that have helped her out. Like, I loved that promo she gave, I think, a week or two ago. And then I also enjoyed I've just enjoyed watching her grow, watching her fight a lot of different types of styles. As I said, I think Adam Cole and War Raiders, that was the other one. Adam Cole and War Raiders, probably only two that didn't need to start in NXT. Outside of those two, yeah, that's probably it. But, you know, that's a very big problem. Then we go on to the next problem between sports entertainment and professional wrestling. And that is just that. How much entertainment are we getting versus how much wrestling are we getting? Here's the problem. And this has become a bigger and bigger and bigger problem. Commercial breaks, which are becoming more and more and more a thing, and they're trying to shove them in the middle of matches for no apparent reason other than to remind you that a pay-per-view is happening, which, why don't you just do that during a regular commercial break? You gotta shove that shit in while in between a match? Well, I gotta watch a screen, probably a quarter the size of the actual screen that I'm watching it on? Fuck you. You know? Give me what I want. Wrestling. Not bullshit. I don't care about somebody's 30-minute diatribe. Put in your fucking commercials then. Jeez Louise. You know, you don't see them doing that. But dear God, somebody's wrestling in the ring. Oh good, we can shove something from Snickers or Pepsi or fucking Rocket League in there. It's like, fuck off, people. I want my pro wrestling. Not fucking horse shit. And it's like this past Monday. Itsy bitsy fucking spider on a fucking guitar. It's no wonder you guys got the lowest ratings. And then you want to blame it on who Donald Trump put on the fucking Judiciary Committee for Department of Justice. Are you really grasping at straws that bad, WWE? I mean, come on. Come on. Fucking losers. I swear, these guys, it's like, get it through your head. Do I need to have fucking Simon from fucking What Culture knock your head around a few times? That is not gonna impact your ratings at all. In fact, I don't think that would have impacted Jeopardy's fucking ratings out here on the West Coast, you fucking idiots. But no, you want to blame your lowest rating ever on a judge elected for the Department of Justice. It's like, what the fuck? You know? And then you want to blame SmackDown's lowest rating ever, like last year, on the fact that it was Halloween. Fuck off, you guys. Like, really. Grasp at straws while you can. Because New Japan and ROH are fucking coming for you assholes. I mean, really? Can you really just think about this logically? You're getting bad ratings because your product is bad. Your champion, or quote-unquote supposed champion doesn't show up to your shows, but oh God, it's a UFC event and I have to be there. Man, I gotta do a little pussy shove to the UFC champ just to tell him, hey, you better keep your belt warm for me. Really? So, you're doing this to do one of two things. A, again, I don't know why you need to make Lesnar look like a badass. Because, A, we all know that all his muscles are on the outside of his body, and he's got none up here. And that, B, he has testicles the size of fucking cornflakes. Quite frankly, Brock Lesnar, you know, he is a marketing genius. I'll give him that much. I mean, this guy definitely knows how to market himself and make money. And if that's what, if that's what his ultimate goal is to, quote unquote, make money and just be like, fuck the fans, fuck the WWE, fuck UFC, I just want money, then I guess he's doing a good job at it. But what you're doing is you're burying the WWE by just saying, fuck the WWE, I just want my money. I mean, do you realize that people see right through you, Brock? And I will say that to that motherfucker's face. I see right through him. 'Cause he's a pussy. Brock does not deserve the Universal title. And I don't care, come at me, bro. Come at me. I'm at fucking, G Maloney on fucking Gmail. I'm on Twitter. I'm on fucking Facebook. Come at me, bro. I don't care anymore. Brock Lesnar is a fucking pussy. And these people trying to tell me that Brock Lesnar's record is somehow, has eclipsed fucking CM Punk's. Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! That's what I say to that one. He hasn't eclipsed shit, because he didn't even have the right title to do so, number one. Number two, I would say the defenses are quite a bit lower. I mean, give me a break. So, if you look on any social media site, you can find that information. But, you can deny it. You can live in denial. I mean, that's your life. But, quite frankly, I like fighting champs. I don't like little pussies that want to hide for 4 months and then decide, oh, I'm going to defend the title because I'm going to get $1 million for it. Fuck you. And anyone that would ever do that to the WWE, fuck you. Quite frankly, the reason the WWE is in the state that it's in is because they have allowed talent like that to just butt fuck them. And I don't get it. And that's another systemic problem between sports entertainment and professional wrestling. MMA. Now, in the beginning, this started out pretty innocently. You had guys like Steve Blackman and Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn, and they were all really great performers. And it was before mixed martial arts was a super heavy money-making sport. And they were welcomed, these guys were welcomed into wrestling because, it was just something different. It was, adding sprinkles to the chocolate or the vanilla. But what happened was after Brock left the WWE, I believe it was 2007, he tried to be a Minnesota Viking, got close but no scar. He got cut from the practice squad. And then he went into UFC, where he had a great amount of success. And as far as UFC and the Octagon are concerned, he's always had a great amount of success. I will not take that. I will not strip that. I will not do anything to tarnish that, because he earned that. And in that kind of respect, I respect Brock Lesnar, because he walked in to an unknown environment and beat the shit out of it. In the end, he got fucking knocked out, and then he was beaten again. He ended, he quote-unquote ended his fucking legacy, supposedly there, but with a win, when he said that the chapter of his chapter... Now, this is another thing about sports entertainment versus professional wrestling. On ESPN, I think it was about 2 years ago, maybe 3, Brock Lesnar was, I believe it was on SportsCenter. And I don't know, for those that saw the LeBron James's decision, where he decided whether he was going to stay with the Heat or go back to the Cavaliers. It was kind of the same thing, same kind of vibe. And Brock Lesnar said, look, you know, I've had a great career, but I think that time is closed, that window is closed for MMA, and I'm officially going back to the WWE. And that's what he did. And, you know, now all of a sudden he wants to go back to MMA. There's a disconnect here. And I think I want to say this. A, this is sports entertainment. There is no off season. There is no off for training. And if you want to fucking hold a title, motherfucker, you got to be there to defend it. Otherwise, in this era, with social media, with people like me that have a fucking brain and are not fucking pointless plebeians that want to suck the fucking cock of every Roman Reigns and fucking Brock Lesnar out there, you know, we know how long you go without defending your fucking title. And if you're going to be in the WWE, not UFC, not NFL, because there is no off-season with WWE. That is something that has been brought up many, 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 many times by many, 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 many people. And I'm sorry, Brock, if you're not a man and can't fucking put out for WWE more than 5 times a fucking year, you lazy fuck. But, you know, I'm sorry, but I don't give a fuck how many house shows you do. It could be 2, and even then, you do like what, 2 or 3? I mean, I've got fucking idiotic morons fucking coming to me telling me, well, if it's a house show, it counts. No, it doesn't. Was it nationally advertised? Was it on fucking television? Then I don't give a fuck. Allow me to repeat that. If it is not on national fucking television, it don't fucking count. In fact, the only time the WWE has ever swapped a title as of late to push a fucking storyline was with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. I don't even think I can remember anything before that even remotely happens in that way. So, the fact that people want to sit there and talk about, well, he's defended it at house shows, that's called glorified squash match. And do you want to know why those are glorified squash matches? Because you know going in that since it's a house show, they ain't gonna lose no goddamn title. Don't be stupid. Don't pay into that garbage. Don't be a fucking WWE mindless fucking drone. Don't. Because that's what they want, is mindless fucking drones to watch their fucking products and say, yay, that was an 8 out of 10, dude. No, it's not 8 out of 10. It was fucking retarded, and that's what it is. Now, last 2 points I'm going to make here before I go. Sports entertainment versus professional wrestling. Let's talk about women's wrestling for a minute here. Women's wrestling. There are some great women's wrestlers on that roster. I mean, you look at the talent they have just on the main roster alone. You've got your Ruby Riots, you got your Sasha Banks, you got your Baileys, you got your Charlottes, you've got freaking Ember Moon now, you've got, who else can I think of? I will put, I would put the Iconics in that conversation. Probably towards the lower end of the conversation, but I remember when these two were greener than fucking grass. Peyton Royce more so than Billie Kay, but that's another conversation for another time. I mean, you have Natalya, who's a fucking great wrestler. And then, of course, you've got, Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. I mean, what the fuck else is there to say? And, of course, you have Asuka, who was the unstoppable force. And then you've kind of got these people that are kind of there that do not belong on the main roster at all. Lana. And the only reason she's on there is because she's a total diva. Nia Jax, again. She impressed me a little bit in Backlash, but, another total diva. And then you freaking have, oh my goodness, what other freaking diva do we have on this roster? Let's see, there's Lana, there's Nia Jax, there's the other 2 members of the Riot Squad, there's the other 2 members of the freaking Absolution, though, I don't remember her name, but she looks like the MMA fighter. She's pretty ballsy, and she's not horrible, but she does have a little growing to do. She's still pretty green. I mean, you've got half of your roster that is greener than fucking grass, in my opinion, and the other half's really good. So, in that sense, you could be making some great matchups on both shows. But what are you wasting your time on? Fucking counseling sessions. And in this sense, last Monday, we didn't even get one with Dr. Shelby. It was with some rando chick. I mean, come on. Supposedly you actually hired the guy that played Dr. Shelby. I mean, if you're gonna do your damned entertainment, do it right and have the fucker there for the segment. Or tape all the segments at once and then just play them throughout whenever the fuck, and then have your match. My guess is this is leading to a match at SummerSlam, but, I could have built up a much better card in a much better way. It is not aesthetically pleasing to me to know that, well, you need to go to counseling, or you're fired. Uh-huh. Yeah, I just, to me, that is very, how can I put this, dumb. And I don't, I guess, but where do you go from here? Because you have basically gone down every route you possibly could with Sasha and Charlotte, or Sasha and Bayley, other than having them beat the shit out of each other. So just do it already. Again, and there is one other thing that they have done as of late to make the women look stupid. Natalya. And I believe this was before Money in the Bank. And this is really the way I feel it should have gone down. Okay. There were 2 weeks. And I know that some people noticed this and some people didn't. She had a knee brace on, I believe, the left knee. And, so she was walking on crutches and whatever. She had a match. And she had to put the knee brace back on. But it was on the right knee. Oh, shocker. What they should have done in this position, seeing as it was somebody's fuck up, obviously, that did this in creative, they should have had Natalya win Money in the Bank. Fuck Alexa Bliss, first of all. Second of all, they should have had Natalya do the exact same thing that Alexa did. Just beat the shit out of both of them with the briefcase, cash it in, take the title, and then all of a sudden make it about Natalya. And make it about a chase for, Ronda Rousey to get to Natalya at SummerSlam. That is a fucking SummerSlam worthy match. Alexa Bliss versus Ronda Rousey. That is an obvious SummerSlam match. Granted, it is a grudge match, which I'm all for, I guess. But, again, sports entertainment versus professional wrestling. We all know that fucking Alexa Bliss is going to get the shit beat out of her and get what's coming to her eventually. So why did you do it that way? I just don't get it. Anyway, my last difference here between my problems with WWE. Let me explain something about title situations, and this is even systemic down to the NXT level. I understand why I believe it was, I believe it was New Orleans that they had Ciampa and Gargano the main event. I kind of got it at that point, because that story had arced over a year. So, okay, fine. The NXT title goes on second, because it was kind of, in terms of booking, it would have, or should have, gone second anyway. Then we move on to Chicago. Same shit. I'm sorry, But if I'm booking Chicago or New Orleans, and I know that that match is happening on both shows, I would have booked, I think, New Orleans for it to not be the main event, considering that's WrestleMania weekend, and titles should be a big thing. And I'm of the old school mentality. Your title and title matches are not to be superseded by non-title matches unless the feud fucking calls for it. Now, Ciampa and Gargano's a hell of a fucking feud. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That feud, like Tommaso Ciampa, jeez Louise. I would say he's up there with fucking... He's higher than Samoa Joe right now. And Joe's a fucking great heel. I mean, if you want to look at heel-based work, Tommaso Ciampa in the last year and a half has just blown it away. I mean, that guy, he's been the dick of, and the bane of Johnny Gargano's side. And I think that's really what's made this a big thing to people that watch NXT. It isn't so much that, oh my God, we all love Johnny Gargano. It's that you're sitting there, and these are moments you never see in WWE, which, again, sports entertainment versus professional wrestling. This is where the entertainment comes in small doses, but is a good thing. You see, this match was basically no DQ. He sat there and he handcuffed Johnny Gargano and just beat the shit out of him. Took off a ton of the ring to where the ring boards were exposed on the bottom, and just DDT'd the shit out of him into an exposed ring. And then pinned him for a 3. Not only that, he took off his wedding ring, fucking hawked a fucking loogie on it, and threw it into the crowd. That is good storytelling that you can build upon. Not a 30-minute fucking diatribe that sounds so fucking scripted it came from Days of Our Lives. I'm sorry. And to some people, it may sound like a whiny gripe. But you tell your story in the ring. I've always felt that way, and good professional wrestling will always be that way. You want to know why the Cow Palace was so packed? Because of good storytelling. You want to know why I can almost guarantee Madison Square Gardens is going to be packed? Because of good storytelling. You want to know why All In sold out in 29 fucking minutes? Good storytelling. Yet y'all want to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. So, it's amusing at this point. Because I know what good wrestling is. Shit, I was alive in the 90s. I was alive in the early 90s when fucking Undertaker took his first walk out at fucking Survivor Series. So do not tell me I don't know good wrestling. I saw the original ECW. I saw the original WCW. I saw WCW towards the end of the time when it was AWA. I saw the original fucking WWF before they changed their logo to the little scribble, and then had to change it again because the World Wildlife Foundation sued the shit out of them. I know what good wrestling is. I also know what bad wrestling is, which really kind of started with the invasion. As much as I hate to say it. I mean, from 2002, for the last 15 fucking years, it has been very hot and very fucking cold. And I give certain wrestlers a lot of fucking credit for surviving that. Dolph Ziggler being one of them. Drew McIntyre being another one of them. You want to know why they got packaged together? That's why. They survived. John Cena being another one of them. Randy Orton being another one of them. I mean, there are a few that survived. Fuck! Mickie James, even though she ain't worth jack shit, being another one of them. Though Mickie James, for the majority of the time, was with TNA, but, you know, I just, again, sports entertainment versus professional wrestling is a problem for WWE. Because New Japan and Ring of Honor are coming. As I said, they have the show at the Cow Palace, they have All In Chicago, and they've got another G1 special at Madison Square Gardens. That has got to have Vince McMahon shitting in his pants. And regardless of what you do or don't want to fucking think about it, when you're singing the fucking itsy bitsy fucking spider on Monday Night Raw, you know, this was coming. You know, winter is coming for WWE. And I believe that, you know, at the end of the year, this is, you know, this is a war. We're coming for war. Fucking straight up, you know, Otis Dojovic right there. But it's true. Those guys, they're coming. They're not just going to be happy with just Japan. And Ring of Honor having a legit working relationship with them, and then TNA trying to get a working relationship with Ring of Honor and New Japan, and TNA already having a working relationship with AAA, and then Ring of Honor and New Japan trying to get a working relationship with Lucha Underground? Fuck! You have, what is it? Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor, TNA, New Japan, and AAA. So that's 5 of North America's top fucking companies coming for you, Vince. I don't know what I would think about that, but if those 5 families from the Game of Thrones fucking got together to take out my family, I would be very scared. And I think the reason he wants the Young Bucks and Cody and Omega so bad is to try to put out the fire that they have lit under the independent circle. And I don't think there is any way of putting out that fire at this point. In fact, if I'm any one of those 4 people, if I'm Omega, why the fuck do I want to jump ship now? I'm the fucking IWGP champ. Fuck you guys. If I'm Cody, again, I ain't wearing no goddamn Stardust shit. Go fuck yourselves. And if I'm Matt and Nick Jackson, okay, A, you don't value tag team wrestling. B, I have to give you what is it, 30-40% of my gross on all of my merch that I sell? Fuck you. I get 100% now off from Hot Topic. It's like, how stupid does WWE thinks these guys are? Like, I could see Omega maybe going to, WWE, because the Roman Reigns experiment failed. It did. But if I'm the Young Bucks, why the fuck am I ever gonna go to WWE? Not in its current state. And Cody, I think Cody just soured on WWE the way that Ted DiBiase Jr. just soured on wrestling and CM Punk soured on wrestling. I just don't see it. I think Cody loves wrestling, and I think that's what he wants to do. But I don't think he wants to do it in a WWE environment. I think that's why he started with TNA, and then he went to Ring of Honor, and then he went to New Japan. So I think that's a guy who is a self-made man. But WWE, they need to be careful. Because, I believe it was the Saturday before WrestleMania, which means Ring of Honor is going to have a G1 special the same day as the takeover before WrestleMania. Seriously, though. This is going to be next year. Mamma mia! That's going to be a lot of competition for WWE here in the States. It's not going to be, well, we can do whatever the fuck we want because Impact's not a threat anymore. Now they've got Ring of Honor and New Japan to have to worry about. And what is this company really going to do? WrestleMania weekend next year is going to be very interesting because, you cannot use it as another Reigns coronation, or people are going to sour on this organization and jump on the New Japan ROH train like that. Straight up Thanos style. But, I'll be honest though, you cannot deny that ROH and New Japan, this partnership they forged. Originally the idea for it came from Jim Cornette, but he never actually got to pull it off. And it was later on down the line when they pulled it off. But, it was after he left the company, obviously. But still, the fact that these two companies who value professional wrestling over sports entertainment, that's a big deal. And I think that just shows how much more people are beginning to like chocolate over vanilla. Because this whole sports entertainment horse shit is becoming more and more vanilla. And nobody wants to see it anymore. It's the same old shit. It's always so-and-so wins, so-and-so loses. Like, if I have to watch fucking, God, what's his name? I don't even remember, but he's racked up like over 200 losses right now. But the point is that, this is just the height of stupidity. And I don't think people want to wait 4 months for a title match with your Universal title. I mean, it's terrible. Like, the Intercontinental title is the biggest thing you have. Because I guarantee you, if you were to ask people today, which match do they give a shit about more? Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler? Or Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley? I guarantee you 4/5 of those people would say Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins. Because Bobby Lashley and fucking Roman Reigns, do you know what they were screaming in Boston on Monday during their segment in front of the, Boston Celtics sign? They were saying, we want Celtics, and something like screw this match or something like that, or end this match. And it ended in a pull-apart brawl, which they're in, and then you have, again, more sports entertainment. It's like you had Seth Rollins out there kind of talking shit about Ziggler and the way he did things. And then you had, Drew McIntyre come out, and then you have a diatribe about McIntyre fucking goats because he's from Ireland? Like, really? Really? Yeah. That's exactly what I want to fucking hear on a Monday night. McIntyre fucks goats. You see, there's a line that I don't think should be passed, and considering this is a PG product, and you're talking about fucking goats, is this really a PG product? Or is this just PG because you want everyone to believe it's PG so you won't lose any sponsors? I believe it is the latter and not the first. You can have a PG product, but you don't need any of these shenanigans that are just super unnecessary. Do I want to hear about goat fucking when I'm eating my dinner? Of course not. Do I really want to hear about somebody's counseling fucking problems when I get home from work? Fucking of course not. This is just sports entertainment at its worst. And I think if Vince, really has a brain, or at least half of one, get this entertainment bullshit off my television today. How about you start Extreme Rules by telling everyone every match is going to have a fucking stipulation, instead of calling it Extreme Rules and making it a meaningless fucking pay-per-view just like Backlash, which is what this is going to turn out to be. I mean, really, the only reason I want to watch Extreme Rules is to see what the fuck happens when half the people, if not 3/4 of the people, are chanting something like, you both suck, or fuck you, Roman, or they're just fucking leaving. How are you going to explain that one away, Vince? How? 2 pay-per-views in 3 months. How do you explain that? Because I don't think you can. Well, I've pretty much stated my piece here. So, to everyone here that agrees, disagrees, love to hear your comments at gmaloney@gmail.com or at Gary Maloney at facebook.com. I'm working on getting a Snapchat up, but right now it's not up yet. So, just keep on going. And this is Gary Maloney for Sactown Slam, and I am out.